It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
And here we are. Welcome back to the working week. It is Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Alstyne. The show tonight sponsored by our friends at Siren Records in McHenry. Just a couple quick programming notes before we begin tonight's show. This is still Quarantine Con Carne back in March of 2020. Due to the pandemic, I pulled back my usual method of doing this podcast, doing it in my car, visiting local restaurants, brew pubs, etc., doing interviews and video stuff in my Mazda 3. The world is loosening up. We're getting vaccinated. People are returning to something that passes for normal. And I realized as I was trying to book guests for Quarantine Con Carne, doing this from home, it was getting harder to do. And I had a couple of guests do last minute cancellations or reschedules because people are getting back to their lives and not everyone is home every night the way they were. So you'll notice over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to pull back on the Quarantine Con Carne, probably doing 2 or 3 a week instead of 5 a week, which I had been doing for the past 14 months, which is fucking ridiculous. But that's what I've been doing. And then at the end of the month, I will officially, finally, at last, return to the titular car of Car Con Carne. My first guest in the car will be the band Letdown, who you'll be able to see opening up the picnic show for fantastic radio station 101 WKQX. You may notice astute Car Con Carne viewers will notice that I'm wearing the ceremonial garb of Baseball Furies. Back in episode 517, director of that documentary, Jason Doubledinger, joined us for the show, and I'm wearing a very comfortable Baseball Furies shirt. And I need to feel comfortable because tonight's show is everything. It is relaxing. It's going to be glorious. I'm talking with Stephanie Sack. Now, Stephanie, hello, Stephanie.
Hi, James.
She is a cinephile. She's an Italian murder enthusiast. She's also a self-described cosmic hostess, gothy AF, Chicago native, hot yoga junkie, UFO valet, total weirdo, writes about murder, space, and murder in space.
The 3 best topics in the world, James.
If I were to compose a new LinkedIn profile, I would dig into some of those because those are skills I want to have. Those are things I want to have endorsed by colleagues on LinkedIn. I'm
endorsed about murder, space, and murder in space all the time. It's a good feeling.
The thing about LinkedIn, you know how on LinkedIn you have skills and people endorse you. I've been endorsed for things I flat out can't do. Like it's such horseshit when you look at that because none of it is actually real world authentic. I think someone endorsed me for computer science. I'm like, really?
That was me. I apologize.
Thank you.
I was just fooling around, James. My apologies if anything, malfeasant happened as a result.
Bob Sciarrito, a recent guest. He was there for episode 600. He is ecstatic that I'm talking to a real live UFO valet tonight, Stephanie Sack. So, Stephanie, the reason you're here, besides your inherent delightfulness, Sunday night at the Music Box Theater, the legendary, the iconic, fantastic Music Box Theater on the north side of the city of Chicago. It is a double feature. Now, when I posted about tonight's show, the way I described it was... there are movies so strange, so obscure that sometimes we need the right person to introduce us to them. Meet Stephanie Sack, cinephile and curator of a truly unique night of movies coming up at the Music Box. Showing on Sunday, it's Centipede Horror and Lizard in a Woman's Skin. These are movies that Stephanie, I'd never even heard of. And I see a lot of movies.
I'm happy to be the conduit to introduce you, James.
So these are 2 movies. And your involvement, you're a co-promoter of this?
I am indeed a co-promoter. I'm very lucky, obviously, the Music Box being in our backyard, especially during these times when people are going back to the movies. It has been open quite a bit during the quarantine. And in order to celebrate the opening up of Chicago and to get ready for a really fun summer, I am indeed co-hosting this double feature of Centipede Horror and A Lizard in a Woman's Skin.
I love horror movies. I love obscure movies. I love B movies. I love trash movies. It was
yes.
It was exciting to go down this rabbit hole, and it'll be more exciting to see these movies on Sunday night. Let's start with Centipede Horror because really, this is everyone's horror. This is something that will make everyone uncomfortable. This is a movie made in Hong Kong in the early 1980s.
Yep.
The description: after his sister dies under mysterious circumstances while on vacation, Wai Lun decides to take matters into his own hands. Soon enough, he discovers a family curse, battling wizards and centipedes. Lots and lots of centipedes. And that's the elevator pitch. Done. Sold. I'm there.
I mean, a preponderance of centipedes is just almost everyone's nightmare, really. And then when you throw in wizards and revenge and Hong Kong, it's all things all the time.
So this is what is known as a Category 3 movie in Hong Kong.
Correct. Category 3 is pretty much akin to what we would call X in using our own ways to look at movies. And it is rated X for a reason. It's extremely gory, extremely violent, extremely trashy, extremely disturbing. And if you like those things, it's, like I said, it's all of those things all of the time.
So the description of Category 3 films in Hong Kong: no persons younger than 18 are permitted to rent, purchase, or watch this film in the cinema. So yeah,
which means every teenager is going to see this film.
Right. It's like the warning sticker on a CD back in the late 80s, early 90s. That was
totally. A nice effort, but ultimately useless.
Now, for those who are unfamiliar with Category 3 movies, I'm just going to read some titles because really you don't need to see half of these. Some of the titles are just fantastic. Horrible High Heels, that was from 1996. You may remember that one. Lots of movies about rape. A surprising amount of rape movies, which you definitely don't need to see, but there's Rape in Public Sea. Girls Unbutton.
As opposed to, Dudes Buttoned, apparently. Girls
Unbuttoned. The least sexy X-rated name you could think of. I mean, okay, that's kind of wholesome in a way. There's Robotrix with an X.
Yes, that's actually one of the more well-known ones, and it involves sort of an animatrix and, tight costumes and bosoms and all that good Category 3 stuff.
The one I want to track down came out in 2001, Human Pork Chop.
Well, I'm Jewish, so that's not something I would do.
Yeah, not kosher.
No, not kosher at all.
1994, a Chinese torture chamber story. No ambiguity there.
I'm sorry.
That's what you're getting. I mean, I could lose myself in these. Sexy soccer. Soccer is such a dusty, tiring sport, isn't it? I was never good at soccer. It's a lot of running.
If someone wants to try to convince me soccer is sexy, good luck.
Girls Unbuttoned. Okay, so the Centipede movie. This is a Cat 3 movie. It's going to be bananas. It's going to be disgusting. It's going to be offensive. It's going to get under your skin. Here's the beauty of it. This is not the sort of thing you can find on Netflix, Amazon, etc. Being able to see something this bonkers at a place as awesome and as iconic as the Music Box, that's a great night out. That's a great return to the new normal, or return to normal.
I will say Category 3 in general is not my wheelhouse whatsoever, but I think it's important to be able to screen content, films, cinema like this, because if something is prohibited, I think it's probably even more important for it to be seen at some level.
So Milo's been commenting on the live stream we're doing here. He said, Centipede Horror is no Ebola syndrome, but it's certainly a thing. Noted.
I'm so glad it's a thing, and I'm even more delighted it is not anything remotely like Ebola syndrome.
He's a connoisseur. All right, so that's part one of this evening. Again, we're talking Sunday night at the Music Box, that fantastic place on Southport, at the Music Box Theater. The second movie, now this is all about you. This is what made you say, I want to co-promote this. I want to be involved. This is one of your favorite movies, and I'll let you set it up.
Everything you said is true, James. So this film is called A Lizard in a Woman's Skin from 1971. Came out of Italy by a fantastic director named Lucio Fulci. If you haven't heard of him, perhaps I can contextualize a little bit. He is a peer to Dario Argento, Mario Bava, Sergio Martino, that whole group of guys. And this group of directors, specifically out of Italy, between the years of, let's say, 69 and 89, put out a ton of films that are called Giallo. And the reason they're called Giallo is because they were all based on pulp novels, and the covers of the novels were all yellow. And in Italian, the word Giallo translates to yellow. So it came out, these films came out looking, feeling, sort of acting in a similar way. And they all revolve around the glamour of murder, the beauty of pain. Everything is very colorful and psychedelic and very strange. And a lot of it is the result of sort of a post-war psychology. A lot of it is the result of film being very accessible at the time, and the Italian film industry really coming into its own in a way that was state-supported, basically. But this particular film, within the dozens and dozens and dozens of Giallo, really stands alone. It is an Olympian entry in a 20-year period where films were coming out left, right, and center. But one of the main reasons why this film really stands alone is because it is astonishingly beautiful to look at. The psychedelia, the murders, the cast, all of it is really elegant and strange and inviting in a very weird way. And the only way to really immerse in this is to see it in a theater. So that is why I am beyond excited to see this screened in a proper format, which is big and loud.
And again, it's Giallo.
Giallo.
I'm not going to say what I was saying, but I promise you I've been mispronouncing that my entire life.
I'm very happy to correct you.
Giallo. And if you're watching or listening, you've probably mispronounced it too. Giallo. So you talked about how gorgeous it looks, and in broad strokes, what makes it so attractive? What's this about?
Well, that's a really good question. And the brass tacks of the plot involve a woman who is young and beautiful, and she is the daughter of a very successful politician. She's married to a very attractive man. She has a beautiful home, beautiful stepdaughter, and she is a repressed lesbian who is obsessed with her neighbor who likes to take a bunch of drugs and have lesbian orgies. So there's some tension right there. And then it results in a lot of dream sequences, and there is a murder, but whether she did it or not is really part of the mystery. And what's super interesting about this genre in general is that it's all based on the structure of Hitchcock, in that mysteries are very personal. They're very ambiguous. They sort of unfold in ellipses, and whether or not the plots actually make sense is secondary to the way that it looks. It's very stylish. The editing is very in your face, lots of time jumps. And what's really great about this film in particular, in terms of the plot, is that it doesn't really matter what happens. There's certainly a linear series of events, and you can, I've seen it a couple times and have a basic idea of what happens, but none of the movies in the Giallo genre are obsessed with making a lot of sense. It's more of an experience. It's an unfolding of these characters' psychological situations. There's a lot of trauma processing, and it's all done with the relentless camera of just, a director who's really doing good work. The cast is very solid. The set pieces are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this is just a cinephile's dream in terms of where it falls in Italian cinema. The fact that it was directed by Fulci, who's an Italian master of modern cinema. There's just so many pistons firing for this film.
Sold. And I like the fact that you pretty much managed expectations for someone who might be going into this not knowing what it's all about. Okay, the plot is almost second to just
the experience,
that visual feast, that experience, that's
right.
Sensory.
And I will point out that as this was scored by Morricone, who's a just brilliant Italian, the maestro who did so many films in his career, and the music is even more unusual. It's very jazzy, it's very percussive, and there's an intensity to it that really helps the film stay on pace. It's a long film. It's almost 2 hours, but the between the music and the cinematography and the lighting and the gal who's the main character, Carol, Florinda Balkan, I mean, she's an award-winning actress, and a lot of the Giallo genre is cast for looks. I mean, it's a lot of flesh pots and wiggles and jiggles, and that's sort of part of the pleasure. But Florinda Balkan is a fantastic actress and really does a lot with a little. And she's just, what she does on screen, there's a lot of, again, Hitchcock references. There's a lot of her own dealings with her marriage, with feminism, with sexuality. And it holds up because all of these things come together rather than, it's just more than the sum of its parts ultimately.
It's such a statement of where we're at as a movie going public. You said it's a long film. It's almost 2 hours. Like, weren't all movies like 2 hours back in like the 1970s and even the 80s? That's
such a great point. I would actually say that the 70s were an era where an audience could pay attention. And
I mean, that's just where we're at right now. People can't.
Yes. And I'll tell you, like, coming into these films, they're a bit of a marathon. They're slow in the middle. The director asks a lot of the audience, and these films are all about the payoff when everything is explained and the psychological terror is revealed in a most depressing manner. It's just sublime, really.
One of the topics I keep coming back to, Stephanie, on this show is that of curation. We live in a world where you can have access. We have access to everything, every piece of entertainment ever made. You can find it, but we don't know we don't know where to go. We don't know where to find stuff we'll like. I think curators are important. I think people who can raise their hand and say, "Let me guide you and direct you to what you'll be interested in." I think finding those people is important. I mean, clearly you're one of those people when it comes to film. You're excited about this. You understand this. You want to pass on this sickness, this debilitating enthusiasm for film to others.
Oh, it's totally carcinogenous. It's metastasized at this point. James, that is such a lovely compliment. Thank you so much. I really appreciate being seen this way and you speaking to that. And I could not agree with you more. Especially, I think, as cinema changes and as the cinematic experience becomes something that you can have in your pocket or something that is mobile, for example. I was just at a drive-in, so there's a lot of nostalgia around cinema these days. Mm-hmm. But I spend a lot of time watching film and thinking about film, and the Italian genre of Giallo is very misunderstood, overlooked by many people, and all of that is unfairly so. So not only am I delighted to show this film, which is a piece of art that's very important to me, it's so cool to be able to talk about the Italian cinema as a whole and where films like this fit in. And of course, that goes to the European cinema of the 60s and 70s. And I love thinking about how the American film industry was, doing very different things in this time period. And of course, all of these films are, a moment captured in time. And when a film can both speak to that moment captured in time and transcend it, it is very much worth watching. And this film absolutely conforms to that.
So if people want to see this double feature, again, A Lizard in a Woman's Skin and Centipede Horror, what do they need to do?
They can do a couple things. They can contact the Music Box. They can contact my co-manager, who is called Front Row Cinema, and he is on Facebook. They can absolutely get at me. I would love to personally guide people to purchasing tickets and answering any questions. I'm all over Facebook. Inconspicuous is not how anonymity is a joke at this point. But there's lots of ways to get tickets. And if anyone wants to get at me, I'd be more than happy to help them.
There was a part of me that, I don't know if hoped is the right word, expected that emerging from the pandemic, we'd see more independent cinemas pop up. I just kind of figured, well, maybe if the big chains get taken out by the pandemic, this is an opportunity for independent places like Music Box to start popping up everywhere. Do you think that's possible, or has that ship long since sailed? And
oh, no, I think you really are tapping into an interesting trend. As I said, I was just at a drive-in last weekend, and it was packed, and people were really having a great time, and it was very family friendly, and dogs were there. So I love that the nostalgia of film going is not only accessible, but sort of necessary at this point. But the fact is, running a cinema is a labor of love, especially in this particular day and age when, as you said, content is accessible at any time. But I absolutely agree that there's something very special about going to a place and watching a film in a group, in a beautiful venue, set up specifically for the visual and the audio and the physical relaxation into the whole immersion of film. And I do keep an eye on quite a few things happening in the industry. I'm delighted to report that it seems like there's a single screen in Chicago that might be opened, looking to the Pilsen area. So
Good.
Hopefully when I come back and talk about another film, we can discuss that, James. But, things like in Seattle with the Cinerama being going up for sale. Of course, in LA, there's the another Cinerama. Like, I think the time has come to really for a film audience to step up and save or even open new venues. Film is important, and the 70s in general, I feel, are an important decade to showcase appropriately. And the best way to see a film is in a cinema.
Oh, hands down. We've all spent the past 14 months watching movies at home where, again, it's not this immersive experience you get at a theater.
No.
There are distractions. I mean, when I go to the theater, I like knowing for 2 hours, I'm checked out. Phone is off. No one's talking to me. I am in that universe for 2 hours, for good or for ill.
That's right.
But it's that full experience. And we've all sat here watching Netflix, watching HBO Max, Hulu, whatever, as kids, dogs have been bouncing back and forth. Social media has been pinging us. Being able to sit down in a place like Music Box to thrill to something like A Lizard in a Woman's Skin, that's the best. That's
cinema. That's cinema, baby. And there is nothing like it. And I will travel for film. I will get on planes to see movies. I've gone to LA to see a film. I've been to London to see films.
That's right. I forgot you used to do that, because I would see you post pictures from like London or LA. I'm like, surely she's not there just to see the movie.
I am just there to see a film. I will organize work trips around seeing a film. I will beg, borrow, and steal to get on planes to see films. And that's because there's nothing like being in a theater and seeing a wonderful film. And I just think in a world where, pleasure comes at us from all angles and ways and shapes, it's just like you said, the act of entering a venue, sitting down, relaxing into someone else's vision and someone else's story in a way that is immersive and inspiring and exciting is rare, and it's important. And I encourage everyone to support their local cinema, certainly. And I really encourage, if you're interested in either of these films, please come out and support this event. I'd love to see more people getting into, the Italian genre, certainly. Anything regarding category 3, I'm not super comfortable speaking to, but I'm very excited that we have the opportunity to screen a film that as well. That's
it. All right, Stephanie, thank you for previewing this Sunday at the Music Box.
The pleasure is mine, James.
All right, stay right there. I want to thank everyone who's been watching and or listening. Much appreciated. That's Stephanie. Go to the Music Box on Sunday. See some cool music. Sorry, Force of Habit movies.
Ciao, ciao.